Hey guys, Wayne here. Welcome back to another episode of Wayne's Country Living Live. I thought we might talk about chickens today, considering that the last live stream I had, a lot of people were interested in the chicken problem that I had, where we had that predator come in, and I've got another story on that as soon as everybody starts coming in. Another predator hit the chicken house, but I was able to catch it in time. Um, So we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. What I thought I would talk about today is controlling pests and predators in your chicken house and around your chicken house. And if you also have other livestock other than chickens, then this would actually help that as well. So talking about what happened last night, it was about probably 9 or 9:30. It was a little bit after dark, and I just got this weird feeling in my gut. So I walked out to the chicken house, and I opened, hey Arnie, and I opened up the chicken house door and looked in. Didn't see nothing out of the way, and I kind of took the flashlight and turned it up into the corner, and there hung a raccoon hanging from the eave. Now my eaves are open all the way around. I don't even have chicken wire across it because I have flat metal sides. There's no way anything can climb up that wall. There's just no way. So I got the raccoon out of there and set me a live trap up. But I thought, how in the world could that thing get in there? It's not getting in through the run. So I walked around to the back, and the back side of my chicken house faces the woods. And what had happened is actually a tree had fallen during a windstorm that we had and was leaned right up against the chicken house. And that coon just walked right up and inside the eave. So I got that tree down, and I was lucky because the coon did not get any of my chickens, and that could have been a disaster. I mean, that would have decimated my chickens. I mean, they would have been gone. Because if I would have left that thing alone, if I hadn't been out there, it would have had all night long to destroy those chickens. So I actually got rid of the tree, and I went ahead and put some chicken wire around the eaves, just double check, make sure everything's good. So yeah, that's two predators in a week. That's unheard of around here for me anyway. But if you guys have any questions on chickens, let me know. I want to be right up front with you. I am not an expert. The only thing I know is what I have learned through my experience. And one thing I have learned when it comes with the rules of chickens is there really are no rules. Give them shelter, give them protection, and give them food and water, and that's pretty much it. But there's a bunch of things that everybody has different tastes on, and so I can give you my perspective on my chickens. So let's see who has joined in the chat. Aqua Farmer, Bass Family Haven, Patrick Noble. How you guys doing? Would have been an all-night chicken buffet. That would have been very bad. Yes, it would have. Are your rabbits okay? Yeah, the rabbits are really good and protected. It'd take a lot for anything to get in there. Yeah, they're doing really, really good, actually. I think they're really happy. They're jumping around. Me and my daughter was out there about an hour ago checking on them, and they're doing really well. They're really taking up to their new space, and they're using their watering system really good. And I mean, everything's really good with the rabbits. So Are your chickens locked in the coop at night? Yes. Well, they're not locked in. I guess you could say they're locked in. What they do is I have an opening where they can go in and out from their run, and then the run is surrounded by chicken wire. The run is secure now. I've got it secured. But yeah, they are locked in. I don't let them run around the yard um, very much because I live real close here to the road, and I've also got wild dogs during the day that run around. So I have 11 chickens right now. I did have a lot more, but the possum got them. Um, I have 11 chickens. I'm hoping 10 of them are hens um, and one rooster, Elvis. The other ones really aren't. I have 3 hens for sure, but the other ones aren't old enough yet to know exactly if they're roosters or hens. For me, anyway. Some women become cat ladies, and some of us become chicken ladies. Yeah. One only reason none of our chickens in decades have it never been snatched by a predator is due to the construction cloth underneath the floorboards and half the side of the coop. Yeah, when I build my new chicken house, it's going to be like the Fort Knox of chicken houses. And when I build my new one, this is going to be a more permanent style chicken house. And my opinion only, but at night I lock all 40 chickens in their coop at night. Run is for feeding and daytime. Yeah, a lot of people do that. I know that's what Jane All does. For me, as long as the run is secure, I don't see the problem. What things do you do do you recommend doing to your coop slash chicken house to keep predators out? Well, that is a good question. In my opinion, um, basically, there's so many different things that you can do. Chicken wire is your go-to method. Hardware cloth is a really good method. It depends on whether you want. Um, did you kill the coon? I tried. I tried, but I gave it a good whack with the handle of a hoe and got it out of the chicken house. But I didn't want to fire the gun inside the chicken house. Um, so once I did that, it got out and it ran up into the woods. So I set my trap up. Keeping predators out is tricky. It all depends on where you're at. Um, the anti-chicken wire man hate this stuff. I hate working with it too. Now I've got plenty of it. When I build my new chicken house, I'm not going to use chicken wire. Um, so let me just tell you what I've got now, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to have. I've got just a small, I'd say it's 8 by 8, 10 by 10. I don't know. I never did measure it. I just built the thing. Little shed, basically. I've got metal sides around it of metal that my dad gave me. I've got a floor bottom that used to be a deck, used to be an old porch. That's what I used. That's what I used for the flooring. So there's nothing that can get up from the floor. Up in the eaves now, I've got chicken wire stapled around it. And around the run, I've got pallets up that go and make a square. And I've got chicken wire all around that. And I've got chicken wire buried now underneath the pallets. So where if anything digs in, they're going to dig into that chicken wire. That's what I have now. That's basically the only thing I'm doing for predators is just making sure they can't get in and the chickens can't get out. This live stream, I have never had anything get inside my run or my chicken house in the years that I've had chickens. I've always prided myself on their protection. And this time around, I dropped the ball. The coon last night was kind of a fluke because of that tree falling down. But when I build my new chicken house, I'm going to build. I would like something in a 24 by 24 foot range, but not all of that is going to be a chicken house. Some of it's going to be a little work area. And I'm going to dig me a trench around, and I'm going to pour Quickcrete around the base of where the chicken house is going to go. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a contractor, so I'm going to say words that don't make any sense. I'm not a contractor. I'm a propane salesman. But around the floor, I'm going to have a dirt floor, but I'm going to have a Quickcrete wall going basically around in the trench. That's going to keep anything from digging under the chicken house and getting inside. I'm going to have open eaves, but I'm going to have there's going to be doors on them that'll kind of shut down. That way, during the wintertime when it's really cold, I can just swing those doors down. And I'm also going to make sure that there's no trees around for coons to crawl up in during the day or during the night if I happen to not be able to shut them. The run is going to be, right now it's 4 foot tall, the size of a pallet, just something for them to get in and run around and scratch around and stuff. When I build my new run, it's going to be bigger, and it's going to be, the fencing is going to be at least 6 feet tall, if not taller, something that I can get in. And then over the top of that is going to be netting, bird netting, or something like that to keep any kind of chicken hawk coming down or anything like that. So I have some things wrote down. Besides predators, there's something that anybody that keeps chickens will understand, and that is pests, such as mice and rats, insects. Pests they don't directly kill the chickens, but they can cause a lot of problems. Mice and rats can bring in disease. Rats especially are really nasty. Chickens will basically chickens will eat mice. I've seen them do it. I mean, if they get a hold of it, that mouse will be sorry that it ever got in the chicken house. But rats are a different story. Hold on, give me a second here. Hey, Palmetto. So rats are a different story. Now, I don't know what everybody's method of killing mice and rats is. They're going to come around. Rats will eat the eggs, and they'll even eat baby chicks if they can get to them. Mice won't really get into the eggs or anything like that, but they will get into insulation. They will get into your feed. They'll get into anything like that, and they're basically pests. That's what they are. They're just pests. So, rats to me are more of a concern than mice. And one thing that I never do is I never poison them. I might poison them if they're in the house or something like that, but I'll never poison them near the livestock because, like I said, chickens will eat mice. If you poison the mice and they die near the vicinity of a chicken, it's going to eat it, and then you're going to potentially poison your chicken. So that's why I will never poison at my chicken house. I catch rats with a big rat trap, big snap trap, about that big, just a big cheapo snap trap. Works every time. I go out there and I put a little chicken feed right down on the trigger. Works every time. I've never not caught a rat on that thing. And we don't get them here very often. But we've had a couple in the house that the cat actually got, and I've had a couple out at the chicken house. We don't even poison rodents inside because they can stink if they die in a wall. Yeah, we get that poison. I forget what it's called. Um, it actually dries them up so fast that they don't stink when they die. I forget what it's called, but we haven't used it in so long. Rats don't necessarily attack chickens. I mean, if, like I said, they'll kill a baby rat or a baby chick um, because they're easier. But they'll gnaw on chickens. Like, I've seen them gnaw on their feet and stuff before, but they'll even, I mean, if they can find a place to gnaw on them while they are at night, chickens are just real in this real weird trance. And they'll let anything just chew on them. They'll just sit there and take it. And the rats, they'll chew on anything they can get a hold of. You can also put very large size gravel around the coop. Makes it hard for rats. Never tried that. The rat traps do not work on our rats anymore. I think we must be getting enhanced lab rats. Yeah, that's probably true. Um, yeah, I was getting ready to say that Big Bear's got a video out on rats where he uses those. I don't know if they're gator traps or when they've got teeth on them. They're really nice, big old traps that would work great. Um, what's a good way to prevent um, getting mice and rats? You're going to have chicken feed getting scratched around. It's going to happen. They're going to be attracted to the feed. Whether you use 16% land mash, whether you use cracked corn, whatever it is that you use, it's going to attract them. But the best way to kind of keep that down is to keep the feed in a nice secure area, such as a plastic trash can or a galvanized trash can. Also, keeping your um, keeping your coop shoveled out and cleaned out as much as possible will also cut down on that. That will also cut down on the insects such as flies, maggots. If you've got a bunch of feces inside the chicken house, you'll get a lot of maggots, and then in turn you'll get more flies. Now, that being said, chickens will eat the maggots. Chickens will eat them, and that's good protein for them. I know a lot of people that'll get an onion sack, fill it up full of scrap meat, hang it above the chicken run, and as that meat rots and the flies come in and maggots get on it, the maggots will drop off, and that'll feed the chickens. So I don't necessarily like that on the floor of my chicken house. Some people do. The flies don't bother them. If you found that they were bothering you a lot, you can put that sticky fly paper up as long as the chickens can't get to it. I mean, that would catch a lot of them. And like I said, guys, I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you what I've had experience with and what I have used. Um, there's plenty of people in here, probably in this chat, that has had way more experience getting rid of pests and rodents than I have. As soon as I'm done with this live stream, we're going to walk back out, and I'm going to check the chicken house again and make sure that coon's not back. I don't see how it could get inside the coop now that I've fixed everything. Um, Other things that you have to watch when it comes to your feed is you've got weevils, grain moths, mealworms, and other insects that can get into your feed. Sometimes you notice there might be webbing on top of your feed, tiny worms in your feed, stuff like that. That is going to happen. I have so much turnover in my feed that that's not really a problem. But if you have a lot that you're storing, even if you're storing it well, that could still happen, because you can, every time you open that up, there's a potential of something getting in it, coming down. But like I said, I have so much turnover in my feed that that's never really a problem. See if there's any questions. In the past, I have used trail cameras to identify predators. Yeah, I was going to do that, um, if I didn't find out what killed my chickens on Monday. But I put the trap out, the live trap, and ended up catching that possum. And I knew that's what got it. I've got the live trap set right now, as a matter of fact, and if I catch that coon, I'm gonna make a video about it. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to just kill the coon and skin it and tan the hide. I'm not a big fan of that because right now it's summertime and the hides aren't very good. But I don't know. If I take it out and release it somewhere, some people tell me that thing's like a cat, and once it knows where there's food, it'll find its way back here eventually. So I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. I don't know. What would you guys do? What would you guys do if I ended up catching that coon? What would you guys do with it? What do you bait the trap with, Wayne? Arnie, I tell you what, I've used a lot of things, um, and one thing that works on possums and coons and has worked religiously for me, and that is dog food. Just regular old dry dog food. But you can use marshmallows for coons. They've even got coon bait you can use. Check out Big Bear Homestead. He's got predator control videos up, um, that will tell you, exactly what to use. I use dog food, dry dog food. It works every time. I had the trap set up last night, and something got in it and ate every bit of the dog food. I'm pretty sure it was that coon. But what had happened was my trigger wasn't set right. I had it set too far back, and it was actually getting caught on the cage and wouldn't let the door shut. They love cat food too, yes, and they love tuna. You open up a can of tuna and put it back in there, and um, that'll work great. But you have to be careful too, because coon, if you don't, I have to weight my trap down, because if I don't, the coon will just come up, grab it, and turn it over, and then eat the dog food. They're too smart for that. If you don't weight it down, then, now this is coming from Southern Ohio. I don't know what the coons are like anywhere else, but here I have to weight that down. And believe it or not, I'm kind of doing, I'm using a wheelbarrow, and what that'll do is give me an area to put the trap in. That way it can't come around any other area, and it also is sitting right on top of the trap, so it's weighting the trap down. So they only have one way to go in, and I've got the trigger set right now. So I'm gonna make a video if I catch it. And I noticed a lot of people said to shoot it, so that's probably what I'm going to do. If you got bread with honey on it, you might catch me. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I made some homemade butter last weekend, and there's nothing like homemade butter. And I bet my daughter and I went through half a loaf of bread just eating toast and butter. It was so good. We caught one in a live trap and took it and got rid of it properly. Brought back the trap and set it up again. The rest of them came, walked around the trap, growled, and never caught another. Yeah, raccoons are smarter than what people think they are. They really are. It's amazing to me how well they actually learn. I have found that if you put a trap in one area and you catch one, take that trap and move it to a different area with the same bait, and I think it kind of confuses them. So you have one trap on one end of your coop or your property or whatever, and one gets trapped there. You take it and take it to another end, and it kind of throws them off a little bit. We even tried putting a camo netting over the trap and setting it in a few different places each night. Nothing enhanced or enhanced lab raccoons to go along with the enhanced lab rats, I guess. Maybe the raccoons are eating the enhanced lab rats and it's infecting the coons. Yeah, I made those pretzels and messed up my KitchenAid mixer. It was too much dough for it, I guess. So I bought another one, but like Janel's, bigger. Too many cats around here, so I can't use dog food or tuna. Cats don't seem to eat bread and honey. Have you tried the big fat marshmallows? Um, the big fat marshmallows work in some areas. Um, I actually think Big Bear, you need to go check out Big Bear Homestead. One of my moderators, if you don't care, post a link to Big Bear Homestead's channel so they can jump over there and check out his predator videos, um, because he would actually be able to explain it a lot better than I could. What is the raccoon's natural enemy other than man, I mean? That's a good question. Natural enemy? I would say wild dogs and coyotes. Um, I've even heard of wild hogs killing them, but I've never seen it. But around here, it would be more coyotes than it would be anything else. And coyotes here are open season. You can shoot them any time of the year. You don't even need a hunting license to shoot them. So we've got plenty of them around here, which is weird considering how many coons we've got. Bobcats. You know what? We've got bobcats around here. Actually, Ohio has is the Ohio Bobcats because in this area of the foothills of Appalachia, um, there are bobcats around here. Although it's been a long time since I've seen them or even heard one screaming in the woods. And that's what they do. They scream like somebody's getting murdered. Have a bowl of water near the cat food, and the raccoons will eat and wash their hands. Great table manners. We have them too, and mountain lions, so they say. Yeah, they say there've been some spotted around here. I've never seen a mountain lion, but it'd almost be inevitable. I mean, surely there's a few around here, but gray horned owl is a natural enemy. You know, it was a couple years ago we had an owl cross the road, and we haven't seen an owl around here for a long time. I'm not complaining, but We have mountain lions who, when they scream a block away, they'll wake you from a dead sleep. Now imagine, I think you live in California, don't you? Bobcats always sound like a small child screaming, and it sounds like a horror movie. Sounds like somebody's getting killed. It's it's not something that you would want to walk up on, in the middle of the woods. And to be honest with you, from what I hear around here, um, um, bobcats are really docile when it comes to humans, and they'll scream real loud and then run away from you. We now have an eagle in Hanging Rock. Yeah, you know what? Somebody else told me that. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard that there's a bald eagle in southern Ohio. That's not the first time I've heard that. And they said it likes to hang out by the river, which Hanging Rock is right on the river. I walked 17 miles down backcountry roads at night when I was a kid, and I could hear bobcats that sounded like crying babies. It was creepy. Yeah, it's almost like it's one of the things like just that is synonymous with horror movies, like screaming kids and stuff like that. But then, yeah, you have to expect to be walking down at night an old dirt country road and hear a child laugh. Like, okay, that's it. I'm done. Wow, really, an eagle all the way inland? Yeah, and that is if it's true. I haven't seen it, so I don't know for sure, but I've heard several people say it. Children of the corn, no thanks. Yeah, exactly. So another thing I was going to bring up, I don't know about other areas in the country. Um, Apparently now we have an eagle that's close, but hawks, I call them chicken hawks, but just hawks in general around this area are pretty bad. You can go outside and see a hawk circling around any time of the day, basically. And they will attack a chicken, and if the chicken's small enough, they'll just come down, snatch it, and take off with it. Now, a lot of people let their chickens free range, and that's great, but I don't like doing that because I'm not home all the time. And not being home all the time, I can't hear the commotion. Um, a lot of times if something's getting the chickens, like if my little dog is chasing the chickens and I'm outside, I hear it. I hear them chickens going insane. I know the dog's chasing the chickens. He's not going to hurt them. He just chases them around because he thinks it's fun. So I know to go over there and yell at him and tell him to stop. But if I'm not home, you know, I don't hear that, so I don't like letting them roam. And even if you do let them roam and you are home, a hawk's so quick, they'll come down and they'll kill that thing in a heartbeat. And another thing here where I'm at, they're protected. You're not allowed to shoot them. Even a nuisance law, you're not allowed to shoot them. They're protected. So, we have ways of making them disappear that the game warden probably would not like, but you got to do what you got to do to protect your livestock. So what I do is whether I use chicken wire or whether I use netting or whatever, I always make sure that the run where they run around has a cover. Whatever you use, that's what I use around my area. Um, it's it just depends on where you're at and what predators you have in your area. Now, if you're in California or Montana or stuff like that, and you've got mountain lions, you're going to need a little bit more protection than what I've got. Now, will mountain lions kill chickens? I'm sure they will if they're hungry enough. Are they going to go after bigger game? They probably would, but chickens are a nice, easy appetizer for a mountain lion. Here we've got coyotes, and I have yet to see. Well, I take that back. Last year, I saw coyote droppings in the driveway, and I knew it was coyote droppings because there was fur in the poop. So I figured that was a coyote. But I have yet to see a coyote this year. And they'll probably come out more closer to winter. I understand all you need is fishing line strung up over the chicken coop to keep the hawks away. That might be true. I've never tried that. That's the first time I've ever heard that. So that may work. I mean, it's worth a try. It'd be a lot cheaper. Doing any fishing lately, Wayne? No, I haven't. With everything that has been going on, I haven't been able to go fishing. Just going to take a little bit of a break. I hope to get back at it soon, but it just depends on how things shape up, with everything that's been going on. But we still got plenty of time. Even in the chilliness of the fall, it's still good fishing weather. So how many people do we have watching? I don't know how to check that on here. $78. Is that pink current 78? Maybe I'm looking at that wrong. I make 74 watching. Cool. I think that's a record. That's awesome. I hope I am making sense to you guys because, I don't want, one thing I don't want you guys to take is my word on everything. What I mean by that is when you deal with people that raise livestock, it's the same way of people that raise kids. Everybody raises their kids differently, and everybody raises their livestock differently. What works for one parent may not work for another parent. What works for one homesteader may not work for another homesteader. So what I'm telling you is what works for me and what my mistakes were. When I did my live show on Monday, it was Sunday or Monday, I think it was Monday. I told you my mistake. I got cocky with my run. The possum got underneath of it, wasn't paying attention, and I paid the price for it, and my chickens paid the price. Now, as heartbreaking as that is, you learn from your mistakes. Let me tell you something. If you're not making mistakes, you're not trying. It's a work in progress. Everybody learns, especially me. I don't have the money to go out and buy these fancy Nancy coops that you can get for $3,000 or whatever at Walmart or wherever. If you have the money, great. And if you can spend that money, great. I don't have that money. I'm using reclaimed lumber, metal that was given to me, pallets that were given to me, and old chicken wire. And that is getting me by until I can get the money to build a more secure and permanent coop. So what I'm saying is just make sure you are learning what works for you. Do what works for you. Make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes because that's how you learn. Now, I have a question for you guys, and I don't know what it's called, and I've never tried it before, but it's called predator control something. It's a little black box that has a red light on it. It's solar powered, I believe, and it's got a red light on it. And basically, what you do is you put that on all four sides of your coop, and when predators see that red light, it keeps them away because it makes them think that they're being stared at by another predator. I've seen them in books, I've seen them in chicken magazines and hatchery magazines, and I want to know whether they work or not. And I wanted to get your guys' opinion on whether or not you think those things work, if you've tried it, anything like that. like a laser light, kind of like that. I don't know if it doesn't really project like a laser out. It just basically has a red glow. It's just a little red glow that just kind of lights up. I'm not buying a $300 China-made coop from Tractor Supply or Rural King junk. I think I built a better coop um, from what I've got than what I could have bought at Tractor Supply, and I did it for probably around 20 bucks. What, if anything, do you do to your coop during the winter? Honestly, I don't do anything. Um, I might cover up the eaves if it gets too cold, just to keep from the wind from coming in. But I don't heat the coops in the winter, and I'll tell you why. Chickens acclimate to the weather just like any other animal. If you heat the coop and they get used to that heat, and something happens to where that heat supply is shut off, whether it be gas, electric, wood, however you guys would heat it, if it's shut off all of a sudden, those chickens do not have time to acclimate correctly to the temperature, and it could potentially kill them. It could wipe out your entire flock in one night. Um, a lot of people heat their coops. That's great. I mean, that's your prerogative. Me, I don't. I also do not put a light in, um, or I haven't. I might put a light in this year, but all that does is keep them laying more, basically. Wayne, don't worry. Oprah knows everything about everything. When in doubt, ask Oprah. She's the magic 8 ball to the universe. Yeah. Some people play a radio in their coop. I guess it's supposed to make the predators think there's a human in the coop. Huh. Never heard of that. That might work. Having good roosters for the chickens keeps them off the cold ground. Sawdust is good if you can. Yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, I usually pile up a good thick amount of hay or straw on the bottom. And what's funny is chickens put off a lot of heat anyway, so they're they're going to be adding heat to the coop, especially if you block up, the eaves and stuff where the wind's not going to come in. And also during the wintertime, coops don't stink as bad, so you can close them up a lot more than you would in the summertime. Hey, Big Family Homestead. If the coop isn't too big, they generate enough heat to stay warm. Yeah, yeah, because they put off a lot of heat. And basically, the more you have, the more birds you have, the more heat you're going to have, obviously. So that would help out too. We just got chickens this spring, and our coop for now is an old trampoline with a roost and a dog igloo. Yeah, when I first got chickens, I had an old box. It probably wasn't 4 feet high by 3 foot wide, and it's just an old box that somebody had left on the property. And I turned it into a chicken house, put me a little small run. I had 5 hens and a rooster, and it worked out great. They gave me a lot of good eggs, and then eventually I was able um, to upgrade. Basically, how do you keep clean water for them in the freezing winter? Well, there's a lot of ways you can do it. You can buy the heated waterers that you plug up. You can also actually, there's a method Big Family Homestead has, and go check out that video. They used an old heat lamp with a galvanized watering setup. One of the best things I ever seen. Go check that out. It keeps the water from freezing. I use I use a heated water that I plug up. It's something that I've had, so they make 12-volt heating elements. If Brad, if you are still on, do me a favor. Will you post a link to your video? Um, say something so I can make you a moderator and post a link to your video on your galvanized heat or your chicken heating system for your water. There it is. Oh, he's already a mod. Yeah, post that if you don't care, because that right there to me is ingenious. And for people that have chickens, they typically already have a heat lamp for their brood. Um, so if you have a heat lamp already for your brood, you can use that for your to heat your water, and it doesn't heat it so much to where it's like boiling hot. It just keeps it enough um, from freezing. That video there actually is one of the first ones that brought me to Big Family Homestead year ago. So that's why I remember it. That's one of the first ones that brought me. I think it was his Amish bread that brought me to the channel, and then that watering setup he's got is what kept me there. I use heat lamps to keep the water bottles from freezing on the rabbits. Yeah, that's going to take a little bit. Yeah, that's going to take a little bit of thinking when wintertime hits for my chickens, because I'm not going to be able to use the watering setup that I have now. Specifically, the tubing is what's going to freeze faster than anything. The reason I went with what I've got now, I can put that water in there, and that water will last for a while. You know, it probably could last a week or more, but I'm not going to let it do that because I don't want the water inside of it to get bad and mold and stuff like that, because it is sitting outside. But basically, it's laziness on my part because I don't want to have to water them every day, and it gives them a fresh, clean supply of water. Um, I'm also going to be building a water catchment system to be able to water my chickens and my rabbits and whatever else I get. Hopefully, now this is a big hopefully, I am going to expand my livestock, and I'm either going to go with goats or I'm going to go with a hog. I haven't decided yet. Um, Goats are not typically an animal that you eat. I will eat it, but I want a nanny goat so I can milk it. I use an old plastic baby bottle filled with salt water, then put into regular water, no freezing. Really? I have never heard of that. Huh. That's interesting. So you basically just fill an old plastic baby bottle filled with salt water and put it down in the regular water. So you put it on there with the plastic nipple and everything, and it just kind of seeps out. Is that what you're talking about? It's interesting. I've never heard of that before. It works. Huh. That's crazy. I've never heard of that before. I might give that a try. Huh. Learn something new every day. So what do you guys think I should get? Should I get the hogs or a hog, or should I get um, goats? Now, if I get a hog, I'm going to get a female and I'm going to breed it and probably sell a couple of the piglets and then keep one for my family to have it butchered. If I get goats, it'll be for milk and possibly to eat, depending. Um, so everybody's saying goats. Four goats are good eating. Hey, Bumblebee. Goats for sure. Can't stand swine. Ah, here comes the hog votes. They were late, but the hog votes are coming in. Desert Dog, both are escape artists. Yeah, that's one thing um, you get a pig and they'll root up and they they like to destroy everything. Goats are dual purpose. Yeah. Here's the problem though. If I get a goat that's milking, and I've never done it before, so that's something I'll have to learn. And I've heard that you have to milk them twice a day. If that's the case, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, especially in the wintertime. Wintertime's tough for me. I work from dark to dark, and being able to keep up with that is something that's a concern because I don't want to keep the goat in an uncomfortable situation. And if you have to milk it twice a day, I don't know. I also want to get a mini cow like Brad's got. That's way, way off in the future. You can milk them once a day. Okay. If you want milk, a goat, I don't think hog milk would be good. Yeah, if I get a hog, it won't be for the milk. It'll be for the offspring. Keep her dry during your busy time. So if I would do that, if I'd let her dry up during the busy months of the winter, which typically for here, last year it was 50 degrees on Christmas. When people think winter, they think December, January, and February. But really, in Southern Ohio, where I am at, um, February is always the monster month. That is when we really get hit hard. And I know that because I have worked in this crap for a decade. And I've driven a truck in this crap for a decade. So I know when the monster months are going to come. And February is always a monster month, usually around the end of February. So if I let them go dry, and that means I have to breed them again come, say, springtime. Is that correct? Because you can't just up and say, okay, I'm ready now, start milking again. You have to breed them again to get the hormones back, to get the milk back. I'm assuming that's correct, right? Gravy 111 is full of knowledge. As an HVAC tech living in Ohio, I completely agree. Yeah. And they are pregnant for 150 days. Breed in late fall. Breed toward the end of the busy time. So let's say, so if I breed them in fall, it takes 5 months to make a goat. Breed in October, have kids on the ground in April, milk until September 1st, let her dry up for a month. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. So if I breed her in October, She'll drop in April. Then I'll have milk until September. Now, Gravy, can I milk just once a day? Or should I milk them twice a day? Which in the summertime wouldn't be hard. I'm just curious. As someone who lives in Ohio and doesn't drive in bad weather, I know about the weather here. Yeah. Scroll back. I will after the chat, after this is over. This is going to be over in a few minutes. Okay, I'll check that out. Sorry about that. I missed it. This thing rolls real fast to me. Okay, so we have 4 minutes left. I'm going to go ahead and end it. I really didn't talk about all I wanted to talk about with chickens, but that's okay. Dirt Patch lets the kids nurse once a day, and she milks once a day. Yeah, because if she drops in April, then she'll have to have some for nursing as well. So yeah, okay. Well, that gives me something to think about, ponder on. Basics to living. To get milk, you have to breed them. I figured. You can milk once a day if you leave the kid on the nanny during the day. Separate them overnight and milk before you reunite them in the AM. You separate them at night, milk first thing in the morning, and then put the kid back on her during the day. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, guys. You have given me a lot to think about. That is actually very, very helpful. All right, guys. So don't forget to jump over to Go for Green Living. Visit thehomesteadnetwork.com. When you're there, post your email address in the top. That way, if there's a change in the schedule, you can get sent an email. They're not going to spam you. It's just something to help you out in case somebody can't go on. That way, Big Bear Homestead can jump on and cover because he seems to be the go-to guy. But yeah, jump over to Go for Green Living onto their live stream. Visit homesteadnetwork.com. And don't forget to come back and post your comments after this is posted. That way, I'll know how you guys are liking the live streams. Also, anything that you can do or anything that I can do during the live streams that you guys want to talk about, because I sit here and I feel like I'm talking to myself, and I just want to make sure you guys are getting your time's worth, basically. So yeah, if you don't care, go ahead and give that thumbs up button a hit. Go for Green Living. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.